Hi, this is Nancy from Wyoming Earth Treasures, and I wanted to go over the first step of rock polishing. This is a 10-pound rotary tumbler, and I'm taking off all my screws here from the top of it. And we're going to set up the very first step. So the first step is the coarse grit, and then we will polish this for 10 to 14 days or longer. And then we have a finer grit that we do for 10 to 14 days, and then a polish we do for 10 to 14 days, and then a pre-polish for 10 to 14 days, and then a polish. So right now we have, what we're going to start out polishing is, we have some banded iron. This is from around the Pathfinder area in Wyoming. It polishes up beautifully. So we're going to put that into the tumbler. Now they say to fill it about 2/3 full. I always fill it a little bit fuller because as you're tumbling, the amount of rocks becomes less and less and less. And so, and also from Pathfinder, we have some opal here. We're gonna put this in and try to put it all in. So we have some opal here. And we also have right here, we have some petrified wood. This is most likely from Oregon Buttes area, Tri-Territory area, and this polishes up beautifully too. So we're gonna put a few pieces of that in here. And get some smaller pieces in here. We have this. Oh, there's also some. There's some lysite agate in there. Well, we're not gonna polish that up. So we'll put that in there, a little bit of that. And we also, yesterday, we went to butcher knife draw area to get some pyrope garnets and some chromium diopside from the anthills. And while we're there, along the way, they have all of these black rock. Okay. Hi again. So, like I was saying, there's a place out there by Butcher Knife Draw. There's this black rock everywhere. I made a video. I'll post that later. We don't know what it is. So we're going to polish it and see what it looks like when we're done. So I picked out, I have 4 buckets down there, 4 gallon buckets. I picked out some smaller pieces, and I'm going to put them in my tumbler. That's a little bit full, you see there. Okay, but as we tumble it, it's going to go down. And so what we do next is we put the water in here. We put the water just until it reaches the top of the rocks. I thought I had enough water, but I don't have enough water. I'll be right back. Some more water, put it until it reaches the top. See that we're just barely gets to the top of the rocks. And then the grit, this is the first step is 60-90 grit. And as the grit goes higher, it gets less coarse. So they say about 2 tablespoons per pound. This is 10-pound tumbler. I have a whole cup, which is 16 tablespoons, and that's what I'm putting in here, as 16 tablespoons of the coarse grit. Now I'm going to put my lid, and this has a plastic thing right here too, and my lid, and we're going to put that on here like this. Put it down. Put the washers on here, like this. And when you do tumbling, you know, they say to put in the rocks are the same hardness level. And so you might want to do research depending on what you're tumbling. I have a mixture of stuff here, petrified wood, black whatever, opal, and I think, you know, opal's kind of soft, but anyways, I know probably around almost hard 7, but I just throw it all in there. And I wouldn't want to put a really soft rock with a really hard rock, and you want to put it around the same hardness level. And we'll see what it does. Put these on nice and tight so it doesn't leak out. So like there's 4 steps, so 10 to 14 days per step. So it could take a minimum of 40 days to do this. And sometimes I let them go a couple of weeks if I get busy and I forget about it and I don't. And then, oh, I need to do my rocks. Rinse them out and start the next phase. So anyways, so we put it here on the tumbler. Oops, I need to put these on the other side. It can get quite heavy. And then plug it in. And then I usually take my calendar here. And so I don't forget when I started. And I'll write on today's date, August 5th. I'll write on here step 1. That's so in a couple of weeks, if I forget, I'm like, oh, step 1, that was 14 days ago, or 3 weeks ago. I better rinse them out and start step 2. So we will get back with you when we complete all of these after step 4, so you can see what they look like. Thank you. Hi, it's Nancy again from Wyoming Earth Treasures, and it's been 12 days since we started our first step. And if you can see, I pulled out a piece of petrified wood from the first step, and a piece of opal, and a piece of banded iron, and some of that black rock that's looking brownish. It doesn't look real pretty right now, but it's starting to come out here. I don't know what that is. I think it maybe, I don't know. Anyways, as you can see, it's went down quite a lot. So just disintegrating. So we're going to put this back in here. Just wanted to show you a few pieces. And because it has gone down so much, you can put a filler in here to fill it up 2/3 full. You can put like black, plastic pellets or other rocks or rubber bands. And right now I got this jar of Sweetwater agate, so I'll know that this has not been polished at all. So we're going to use it as a filler for this. So we're going to just dump enough in here to make it to go up to 2/3 full. Give it some filler. Does that look about 2/3 full? Okay, thanks. Okay, so now that it's 2/3 full, we're gonna put the water in it to just go just above the rocks. We're on step 2. Oh, I don't even need 2 cups of water. Oh, there we go. Just above the rocks. And so now we are on step 2, which is the 120/20 grit. And this is a 10-pound tumbler, and we're going to use, like we did the first step, we're going to use a whole cup, which is 16 tablespoons. Pour it in there. Now, when we rinse this out, we bring it out in our backyard. We have a big backyard, and we rinse it out with a couple buckets of water, get them clean. Sometimes you can tumble them for a little bit between steps to get some of the grit off, and I'll usually do that at the end of the last step. And You do not want to, whatever you do when you clean off your rocks, you do not want this grit to go down the sink. It's like cement. You don't want to do that. So you need to take it where you can, you know, dispose of it correctly, or some people reuse it. So anyways, I made a mistake the last video. I called this plastic. I guess it's kind of rubber, right? Okay. So put this on here like this. And top on. And then we will seal it and we'll put it back on the tumbler for another 10 to 14 days, or at least 10 days, and maybe longer, depends, and also depends on the weather. So we'll see you in about 10 to 14 days. Bye. Hi, this is Nancy and Tommy from Wyoming with Treasures, and we have completed our 4 steps of our rocks that we started a few months ago. It was 19 days. I got a little sick and didn't feel like anyways. Sometimes you just let them go and you don't get them 7 to 10 days minimum per step, but this was 19. And after I rinsed all of these out, I put them back in the tumbler and added some water and some dishwashing detergent and tumbled them for another hour or 2 just to kind of give them a little bit more shine. There may be other things that you can use to give it that shine. I've heard of ivory soap flakes, also rubber bands or beads you can add to give it some shine. So if anybody has any ideas how to shine these up even shinier than they are, just let me know. So as you can see, this is what we started off with, and then as we went on the second step, and tumbling them, they start to, you know, kind of disintegrate and get smaller, so you have to put some filler in. And I used Sweetwater agates on the second step and the third step to bring it back up to 2/3 step. And you can see how much they've shrank by how much Sweetwater agate I ended up adding, which is quite a bit. And I wanted to mention that when I put these Sweetwater agates in on the second step, the Sweetwater agates are smooth. And that's why I did that. You wouldn't want to put a jagged rock in on the second or third step as a filler. And you can also use rocks that you've already tumbled as fillers for your next tumbled rocks too. And they just get shinier and shinier. Also, besides rocks, you can use these beads also as a filler. These little black plastic beads. And you can, and they're supposedly still help shine them up. Or you can use rubber bands as a filler. So, and also I wanted to also point out that on the 4th step, we use this here lapidary polish. It's aluminum oxide. They also sell what's called a tin oxide, but it's much more expensive. So I don't know, the tin oxide may do a much better job. Maybe one of these days when I can afford it, I will try the tin oxide. It's already kind of expensive. I bought these 4 gallon buckets for I think $100 some whiles ago, and then I just buy 5-pounders and fill them back up. So that's and I'm also, one thing I wanted to add too, on the final step you use 1.5 times much of the lapidary polish. So instead of a cup for this 10-pound tumbler, I used 1.5 cups on the final step of this lapidary polish. And so let's go and look at some of the rocks and how they turned out. Over here are opal. It's an opal, the mixture of agates, some common opal, some opal that glows green, some kind of clear opal, and it's got a lot of dendrites in there. You can see how many, all of these, they're beautiful. And then we have the banded iron, and this banded iron is the iron that we collected over by Pathfinder at the same area we collected the opal on our opal claim. And this banded iron, when you polish it, it just turns out beautiful. It just has this really silver shine to it. It's just gorgeous. Now, we have got banded iron from other parts of Wyoming and polished it up. It's beautiful too, but nothing like this stuff over by Pathfinder. So anyways, this is just gorgeous stuff. And of course, here's some wood that we got. This is Tri-Territory Oregon Buttes area wood, and you can see how beautiful this wood is. It starts out brown, but as you tumble it, it draws out this black in this wood, and it's just gorgeous. And this is over by Tri-Territory Oregon Buttes area. And this here is the black rock I threw in there that I have no idea what it is. I was thinking obsidian, but it's not obsidian, because if it was, it would have just completely deteriorated, I think. But it shined up real pretty. It turned, you can see a lot of this brown in here. And I'm starting to think that it may be a petrified algae. You can see this. Looks like petrified algae to me that we get behind the Oregon Buttes. And it's actually very pretty. And I wanted to point out some of this here opal and how some of it fluoresces a really beautiful green under a black light, UV black light. And this is a really good, more pilot black light. So I'll show you a little bit about that. Turn off some lights so you can really see it glow green. And see, this is some, isn't that just beautiful? And here's this a big piece of opal with a lot of that opal that glows green, and the common opal on the other side, and some other mixture of rock in there. And it's just beautiful. And you bring that black light over here on some of this other stuff to see. Look at this. Some of this got this really beautiful dendrites in there, and an opally, and it glows green. I just think it's gorgeous myself. And here's some. Well, this is more of an agate with some, that might be common opal right there. And also, as I was saying, I put in some sweetwater agates, and even the sweetwater agates, they're not opal, they're agates. Some of them glow a really pretty green too. Now, I don't know what that green is, but it's pretty with a black light. Look at that one, that's gorgeous. So that might be an opal. Sometimes after you polish them, they start look kind of the same. Let's turn the light back on. I also started some other. Okay, let's put one of these up. Well, this one is. You can see it's like some of this sweetwater agates. When you pick it, it looks like it's black. It's really dark. See, this is a good one. Okay, let's see. This one looks like it could. Maybe this one will work. Let me look at the light up here. No, that's not a good example. Let's find another one. Let's see if this one's a good example. Here you go. See how dark that is? It's so shiny and pretty too. And let's put it up to the light. We can get another one. Oh yeah, look at this one. So I started another one. This is on the second step. And you can see, because I also actually put some sweetwater agates in this one to do a filler before the second step. And a lot of this one over here has a bunch of palm wood in it. This is all palm wood. So I'm curious to see what it's going to look like after the fourth step. And you can see, like, this looks like let me look at this up here in this light. This is a sweetwater agate too, and these are sweetwater agates. And you can see how after the second step what they look like compared to the third step. Now these sweetwater agates go through the whole 4 steps. And we have some other rocks in here too. And so we don't know what they're going to look like when we're done, but it's always like at that moment when they're done. So if you have any questions that I left out, Tommy, that I need to tell our audience, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much.